This is a brutal day for Microsoft, Xbox, and the gaming industry because Asha Sharma has announced one of the biggest layoffs that I have ever seen, and I think I have ever covered when it comes to gaming. And it proves, I think it was a few years ago, I was like, this Game Pass thing, Microsoft's thing, it's just not working. It's not working, and I had a lot of people telling me that I'm wrong. Xbox influencers saying that, no, they're profitable, Game Pass is good, and that was all a lie. It was all a lie. People saying that Phil Spencer's doing a great job with the business and they're building something incredible and they're going to turn things around and it's going to be just fine. That was all just a lie. It was lies fed to Xbox influencers. It was lies fed to media. It was lies fed to everyone. And I don't want to sound like crazy or too stern here, but honestly, people have been saying this. I was saying this. Lots of people were saying this. And you got a lot of heat if you said stuff like this. But now Asha Sharma has pretty much put the Grim Reaper status into play because a lot of people are going to be losing their jobs, or there's going to be a lot of people with uncertain futures as they spin off from Xbox and have no types of funding or whatever going forward, or they might find a buyer or they will find a buyer. It's like still they're saying like all the right things, but we don't know truly what's going to happen until it happens. So we're going to get into what Mrs. Asha Sharma had to say. Then we'll kind of break down everything after that. But before we continue, we are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 at 140,000 subscribers or on September 1st, whichever comes first. Subscribe, like, comment. The winner will be chosen at random and it's a worldwide giveaway. Thanks, peeps. On Twitter, Asha said this is an important email I sent today to all employees at Xbox. That's capital XBOX, by the way. Team, we are beginning the most significant restructure in Xbox history. After careful consideration, I've made the difficult decision to reduce our team by approximately 3,200 people throughout the FY 2027. This will include approximately 1,600 role eliminations today, and in addition, 4 studios will leave Xbox to new management. I recognize that a year-long restructuring creates additional challenges. Unfortunately, it is not possible to make all the necessary changes in a single day, and I wanted to be direct about the scale. I know this is painful. These changes will directly affect people who have poured their creativity into building Xbox. Many joined us through acquisitions, while others were recruited here or sought us out because they loved the industry and loved Xbox. Today's decisions do not reflect their talent or dedication. Our business today is not healthy. I repeat, our business today is not healthy. We are operating at margins that are 3 to 10 times lower than comparable platform and publishing businesses. We entered Gen 9 with a smaller install base and a higher cost structure. To grow, we bet on Game Pass, multi-platform, and a broader portfolio of content. While those businesses have created meaningful value, they did not grow at the pace we expected. As a side note, Microsoft was expecting to be around 100 million Game Pass subscribers by 2030, and I don't know what crazy scientists thought that they were going to do that, but that's what they thought. Back to it here. As that happened, our core business weakened, and we added more teams, more investment, and more time, hoping for a better outcome. And now the industry is facing the most severe hardware crisis in its history. We must reset Xbox. First, we will reset our content portfolio. Since 2018, we have aggressively expanded our studio portfolio while the number of games created each month across the industry now outpaces the last 10 years combined. We now find ourselves competing not only with the largest publishers, but also with smaller independent studios. It is neither possible nor desirable to own every great independent studio. We have also learned that we are not the best home for every type of studio. In a typical year, we lost 64 cents to every dollar we invested. As we reset Xbox, we will help independent creators succeed by providing open development tools and audiences to realize their vision. Compulsion Games and Double Fine Productions will return to management and transition to independent studios with their IP, catalog, and runway for their next games. Ninja Theory and Undead Labs have entered terms to join new ownership with funding to compete and grow Senua and State of Decay 3. In France, Arcane's management is beginning required consultation with its Works Council to review potential strategic options. We are also making reductions across other units. and in some cases, shifting investment to focus on higher priority projects. These changes vary in size across Activision, Bethesda, ZeniMax, Blizzard, King, Mojang, and Xbox Game Studios. None of our first-party publicly announced games or projects are being canceled as part of these reductions. In addition, Mojang and King will now report directly to me. These two studios have increasingly become platforms and are our largest bi-monthly active players. Second, we will reset our platform. We know that great technology gets better when it gets simpler, not bigger. Today, in some parts of the company, work passes through as many as 14 layers of management. Our platform teams are 40% larger than they were at the start of this generation, even as our player base and playtime have declined. That complexity has slowed decisions, blurred accountability, and made it harder to deliver for players. As we reset Xbox, we will simplify. We will reduce management layers to no more than 5, and where possible, 3. We will deliver success through a flatter organization that is built around makers, individual contributors focused on building, player coaches, leaders who remain deeply involved in the work while developing their teams, and directly responsible individuals, DRIs, who own key decisions and outcomes. We will streamline how we work across our tools with a cleaner code base, shared services, and 50% reduced vendor spend. Third, we are resetting how we operate. As Xbox grew our headcount, we became more fragmented. Teams, studios, and functions often operate independently, and it became harder to work towards a shared goal, make the right trade-offs, and get things done. For the first time, we are establishing a chief operating officer with the end-to-end P&L responsibility across content, hardware, platform, and services. Helen Chang has been promoted to this role and will report directly to me. Over nearly 2 decades at Xbox, Helen has helped build some of our most important businesses, from Xbox Live to leading Mojang and the Minecraft franchise. She will bring our businesses together under one operating model, making sure we make clear investment decisions, learn from our successes and failures, and hold ourselves accountable for results. Thank you, Dave McCarthy, who is retiring after 17 years with Xbox. Dave has played a defining role in building a platform that millions of players rely on every day and has been a trusted partner through many of the biggest moments in Xbox's history. We wish him all the best. These changes are about a bigger future for Xbox, not a smaller one. The next decade of gaming will be larger, more global, and more creative than anything we've seen before. This year, we'll invest as much in Xbox as we ever have, but we'll invest with greater focus, greater discipline, and greater clarity, all in service of making Xbox where the world plays and creates. I want Xbox to be one of the few companies that entertains more than 1 billion people each day and gives everyone the opportunity to create and connect. I know we can achieve this goal. Xbox has many of the most beloved franchises in entertainment history, talented studios around the world, and will return to growth in 2027. History is full of companies that mistake longevity with inevitability. We will not be one of them, says Asha. This is a lot to kind of break down when it comes down to all this, but really just off the top, the first thing that comes to my mind is incompetence of previous management. The fact that you had people running with autonomy, you had the fact that people were just sitting there going around doing what they want, and sometimes 14 layers of management just shows that Microsoft was poorly ran. They were poorly ran by Phil Spencer and by Sarah Bond and by Matt Booty and by everyone that allowed that to happen. All of the upper management is at fault when it comes down to it. Buying up 1 million different studios, I never felt that would work. I didn't think that was the way. I didn't think that was the key to success. It doesn't do anything by buying up Double Fine and buying up Compulsion and buying up all these different things. When it comes down to, like, what does that do? Like, you're putting their games on Game Pass. Game Pass is not going to grow because you have, South of Midnight on there or something like that. It's not going to grow in those type of ways. And it's not going to grow because people don't play video games like they play or like they watch Netflix. Netflix is easy, it's simple, you don't got to do anything, it's just so casual. Gaming is involved. If you looked at the business when it comes to gaming, you'd see that most people don't buy a ton of games or play a ton of games just to begin with. So it was a losing proposition from the beginning. Now, to their credit, they tried it, it did not work, and I would not be, I would say, surprised if they make a bunch of changes to Game Pass, because I do think that they want people, once again, buying games. And as you head into this next generation, you're going to have the Xbox Helix. It's going to probably be expensive. There's no way they're going to get people to sit there and give them for Game Pass. So I do think that there's going to be a drastic change to Game Pass, just like there's a drastic change to all of this, because the value proposition is nowhere near as high as it used to be. With all these studios being out, like, the value proposition just isn't there. You're going to have to convert it to something more like PS Plus, where after some time your games go there, or maybe there's like a game or two at the beginning. Like, they're probably going to make some big changes to Game Pass, so we'll see about that. When it comes to Asha Sharma, when it comes to Microsoft, I mean, really, you can't blame her. She was basically handed the keys to a sinking ship, and the ship is still sinking. Like, yes, they've made a lot of cuts. They're going to be more profitable now. And I think they should be more profitable after you cut this many people off of there. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's anti-consumer, because you promised a certain thing and you did not deliver, and now you're letting all of that go. Now, those games are still gonna hopefully come out that they put out there, but Microsoft did something really messed up, and I think that people are just kind of blinded by potentially the future of it and what games they're getting. Microsoft showed off games, or showed off a game or two, or showed off stuff from companies that they were planning on getting rid of or spinning off. It was an advertisement to the next buyer. Now, that might be a good or bad thing, how you look at it, but to me, it was kind of a bad thing, because the people that were working there did not know. And if you let them in beforehand, then okay. So for example, Ninja Theory, if you let them in beforehand and let them know, then okay. But the reports came out, said that they didn't. Now, if they did, then okay, that's fine. I'll say, all right, no problem. But it seems like a lot of people at Ninja Theory did not know beforehand. Double Fine did not know beforehand. So it's one of those things to me to where it's just bad management. But Asha Sharma, she looks like she's going to confine things. And I think that really the strategy that they're doing now is what I said that they should do. They should get back to making the games that people like. They own Bethesda. There's no new Fallout. There's no new like Elder Scrolls. There's no new anything. They've had them for how long now? We have not gotten a new Fallout. We have not gotten a new Elder Scrolls. We have not gotten like anything. Yeah, there's been some stuff from them, which is okay, but you need those big franchises. Halo was butchered under what's going on here. They have butchered Halo for the past, I think, 2 or 3 entries of Halo. From Halo 4, Halo 5, and Halo Infinite have all been butchered. These were your system sellers. These were your biggest things that you needed to get going. So that needs to return to being the industry defining type of game that everyone's excited to go out there and buy right there at midnight and pre-order and all that. So that's got to be a thing. They've got other big franchises too. They've got a lot of stuff. They've got Activision Blizzard, they've got Overwatch, they've got World of Warcraft. They've got to get back to making sure that everything is releasing in a good time frame. And once again, she's doing a good job of lowering the levels, like breaking down those levels of management. 14 layers is insane. That is not a sustainable thing. And once again, that's on Phil Spencer, man. That's on Phil Spencer. That's on Sarah Bond. You cannot have 14 layers of management. How does that even work? What is that? Like, what's going on? I can only imagine. I mean, I would have 2 or 3 layers of management at some of my previous positions, and I would get upset on how slow things would move. Think about 14 layers. What is going on here? But once again, to kind of finish this one out, the Xbox influencers were lying. They were being fed lies. It was all just a big lie all around. And much of the Xbox Series generation has been a lot of lies when it comes to Game Pass, when it comes to game sales, when it comes to margins, when it comes to profitability, all that stuff that Phil Spencer would say to different influencers, that they would get angry if you challenged it, or they would call you out or cuss you out or say different things that you would see people on Windows Central and you'd see YouTubers say. They were all lies, because Asha Sharma came out and said it's not a healthy business. We're losing on every dollar. We're losing 64 cents. Xbox influencers and Phil Spencer did not say these things. They made it seem as if they were selling more games than ever and that Game Pass was doing great and everything was just fine. And we all knew, based off of them going multi-platform, based off of them consistently flip-flopping and changing their mind, based off of them not announcing sales numbers for their console, not announcing game sales, we all knew that it was all just a lie. That a lot of it was a lie. That's pretty much all of it was. So now we've got the truth. We've got the truth. And this is essentially what happens when you lie for a decade and a half plus. When you lie pretty much the whole time, this is what happens. People lose their jobs, people have uncertainty, and there's massive amounts of layoffs. Even the people that are going to be spun off and all that, there's still going to be actual people, a lot, just losing their job. They're not going to be able to go somewhere else or anything like that. So keep that in mind. People are focusing on, oh, well, there's no games canceled and all that. Dude, there's a lot of people losing their job, losing their uncertainty, won't be able to feed their families if something does not happen for them. So I'm hoping and praying that these people are able to actually find something else. But this is atrocious. This is absolutely atrocious. And it just sucks, man. Like, it really just sucks. It's super anti-consumer, in my opinion. But we'll see what they do to turn things around, because I just don't see how any of the gaming public is going to have any confidence outside of the hardest core Xbox fans. How do you have confidence to buy their system, to see what they have? I mean, I don't see it. I mean, I think this is a sinking ship, but I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, I will happily say that I'm wrong about it. Maybe in 5 years, if I'm wrong about that, we'll see, but I just don't see how they can turn this around in any meaningful way. Now, are they still going to exist? Sure. Will they have hardware? We'll see. We'll see. Obviously, they're doing the Xbox Helix. We'll see about all that. Will it be successful? We'll see. I don't know, but I wouldn't bet on it. I wouldn't bet positive on it when it comes down to it. I wouldn't bet the house, or I wouldn't bet the mortgage on that one. But once again, we'll have to wait on it. So what do you guys think when it comes to everything we talked about here with Xbox? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, peeps, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you for the next one. Peace.